Hi, this is Lucretia with another episode of the Calm and Confident You podcast. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk to you about kind of what I've been thinking and what's been going on with me for the past few days. I think it's kind of interesting, and hopefully you do too. As a therapist that cares about personal growth, I often find myself kind of psychoanalyzing myself and second guessing the decisions I'm making or not making, and wondering, how come I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. So I'm going to go over some of that from the last few days, and hopefully you can relate to some of it. So it starts out on Thursday. I had someone come over to look at some yard work I wanted them to do for me. This is not something that I normally do. I try to handle everything myself. Some of you, if you're in my Facebook group, you have probably seen the picture I took of the little retaining wall I finally got around to making for my back corner garden. This has been years in the planning and making, and a few different things have waylaid me. But I finally got that retaining wall done this summer, and I really want to get that garden done. But it's becoming more and more clear to me that I'm not going to get it done myself. So I had this person come over. I also need my lawn edged very badly. It's growing out over across the sidewalk. And again, that was something I couldn't do myself. So I had this person come over, and he looked it all over, and we decided that, he's going to do some of this work for me, which felt good. But I also got the estimate for that work, and, it's going to cost some money. And just so you understand a little bit about me, I don't like spending much money. I try to do things myself and keep costs down, But more and more I'm finding if I want something not done, I need to just go for it. So I am going to have him do that work. Now later on Thursday, I happily went and got a massage. This also isn't something that I do very often. But I have had some kind of painful aching going on in my shoulders and upper arms for several months. I've been to the doctor. I've been to a physical therapist, and really nothing is getting rid of it. It's not getting worse, and my muscles seem strong enough, but I just hurt all the time. And of course, it gets worse at night when I'm trying to sleep. So my hope was to go to get this massage, and it was an experiment to see if maybe my shoulders would feel better afterwards. And I do have to say that it felt better that evening. But the next day, oh my gosh, it was much worse. Hurting pretty bad the next day. But my interesting kind of self-analysis started that evening. It had been my full intention to get the massage and then spend the rest of the evening relaxing, kind of just being nice to myself and letting myself relax. But I couldn't do it. I was trying to relax, but just constantly feeling guilty and kind of disgruntled. Because I wasn't getting things done, but I didn't feel like doing things because I wanted to keep relaxing. So my mind wasn't really there to, get going on doing more stuff. But at the same time, I'm kind of going around feeling uncomfortable and disgruntled about, not getting things done, but also not being happy about feeling relaxed. So that was really weird. I was kind of observing myself and thinking, you're weird. I do that sometimes. Now, this goes on into Friday, where I started thinking about there was a daytime barbecue, kind of women's retreat that I had said I was going to go to on Saturday. But as it was coming closer and closer, I started to feel reluctant about doing that. And there's a number of different reasons that I think go into that. First of all, it's a group of women that I have just recently met. It's a networking group, and I really don't know any of them very well. And going to this barbecue retreat thing would have been good for me getting to know them better. But it also would have been, me hanging out with people I didn't know and trying to have conversations with people I didn't know. So the barbecue and the retreat and the activities sounded fun, but I also kind of knew it could be hours of me just kind of trying to have conversations with people, not necessarily it going easily or naturally. And then add to that I had all kinds of things I wanted to get done. I always have a lot of things to get done, and I tend to do all kinds of, chores and projects and things all the time. But I kind of didn't feel like I wanted to spend the time it would take to go to that day retreat. So there's a number of things that could have been going into that, probably a combination. One is social anxiety. I do have a certain amount of social anxiety. I've overcome a lot of it, but it's still there. It still nags at me. So maybe social anxiety was holding me back. I just knew it would be some effort for me to go hang around with a bunch of people I didn't know for several hours. Another aspect behind it could be me being a sort of workaholic. I'm pretty much am. I'm always feel like I need to be doing something productive. So even when I'm not at work, I'm at home and I have things also with my online, all my online stuff, business stuff, and my own personal business. There's always something to be done. And add in there that I have gone on vacation recently, so I'm behind in a lot of things. So anyway, kind of a focus on work there, holding me back from going and goofing off. I would also add in there having some reluctance because of my ongoing physical pain. My aching shoulders just it wears me down and makes me not feel like, going and doing stuff. And not as, kind of lighthearted as maybe I would like to be. And then the other thing that probably goes into it is I was having to sort out what were my priorities, what was most important to me, and why. So that was Friday evening. Already starting to think about that and just trying to decide what I wanted to do. And then this angst continued on into Saturday morning when I needed to make the decision, am I going or not? Because if I'm going, I'm supposed to bring a dish, make some food and bring something with me. And that didn't end until I just finally made the decision that I was not going to go. Once that decision was made and I turned to all these other things I wanted to do, that angst went away, although I did still feel kind of guilty for not going to that, and then also second guessing myself, was this just more of me not being social, which is something I'm wanting to improve and become more social, do more social things. But with that aside, I made the decision I was not going, and so I did go to a local tree and shrub nursery where I browsed around for quite some time and found the tree that I wanted for my back garden that is going to be planted by this person when he comes to work in my yard. So I felt pretty good. I found the tree I wanted. I think it's special enough. It's a nice specimen. So I happily brought home my tree, feeling good about that. But it doesn't end there. I don't let myself, feel good and satisfied for very long, because once I was home, there were other things I was feeling like I needed to do, and there are too many things, and I couldn't decide which to focus on first. And actually, I have to say, Friday evening, I was out in the garage looking at, it's a brand new miter saw that I bought for some crafting, wood crafting that I do. And I have not been able to use it yet because it's a type of saw that needs to be kind of secured and maybe bolted down or screwed down to something. And I just haven't been able to make up my mind on how I wanted to do that. So I actually had a little bit more energy late Friday evening, You got to go figure, 11 o'clock at night, I'm out there in my garage looking at the miter saw and trying to, figure out what I wanted to do and make decisions, telling myself I really should be going to bed. So Saturday, after I brought home the tree, I started taking a look at the garage, and the garage, that's the other thing on my list. The garage, I need to put things away, move things, put them back in their places, because I want to be able to park my vehicle in the garage. Winter is coming, and pretty soon there will be frost in the mornings, and I already am always kind of running late to get to work, and very frequently when there's frost, I come out there at the last second and go, oh no, I have to scrape ice off my windshield. Now I'm going to be really late. So I'm aware that that's coming, and I want to be able to park my car in the garage. So first, though, took a look at the miter saw, and I had been thinking I was going to bolt it to my table, but I was trying to figure out how to do that. When I finally realized, oh my gosh, if I run the saw there on the table, my pegboard with all of my smaller tools and things is up on the wall behind that table. If I run the saw there, it's probably going to blow everything off the pegboard with the air that it will be shooting out from the back of it, and sawdust and whatever else would come off of it. So that would not be a good idea. It also could probably be dangerous if it was making things fly off of the pegboard. So once I realized that, then it was easier to make my decision, which turned out to be I was going to purchase just a fairly inexpensive stand specifically for miter saws, which I could get from Lowe's. So that was the decision. I hadn't done it yet, but that became my decision. And there's a really neat do-it-yourself, homemade miter saw stand that I'd like to make at some point. And that'll be maybe even better than the stand that I'm buying. But that'll be down the road, and the way I'm doing it now will give me time to think about it and get the materials and work on it, not feeling rushed. So that decision was made. Then I could turn to my messy garage. Now, keep in mind behind all this is, I want to be posting things on social media. I want to be creating emails to put out. Should be cleaning my house. My kitchen is a mess and a disaster. And we have this poor tree out front. It has some sort of bug infesting it, which I did think to bring some of that to the nursery with me and showed it to them and got their advice on how to take care of that. So kind of keeping my eyes open for opportunities. I needed my son to help me with that. But I started kind of moving things around in the garage. Then I did get a hold of my son, and we went out front and we sprayed the tree with some stuff that's supposed to take care of this bug infestation. It might be too late. It's so late in the year. I probably should have done it in the spring, but we gave it a dose this Saturday. Felt good to finally do something about it. And then back to my garage, and I finally got my kayak was taking up the entire center of the garage. So I finally got that pulled up on its pulleys up to the rafters, and started kind of sweeping out the floor and figuring out where to put other things. So finally, getting control of that kind of stuff. And if you are a part of my Facebook group, I did a video of all of this stuff and kind of told you about the angst I was going through and the decisions I was trying to make. So it did become kind of something I could use for my Facebook group. So spraying the tree and working on the garage actually happened today. Today's Sunday. So as I'm kind of checking things off my list, I'm feeling better and better. I ordered the saw stand so that I could pick it up later in the day. I went and got groceries, which needed to be done. And now another kind of anxiety was coming up. I've been spending a lot of money. And included in that is I went on vacation in July, and I went on another trip in early September. So my savings has been reduced from going on these little vacations and trips. So, and then on top of that, I am spending money to, I had someone come and clean out the vents, which has never been done the entire time I've lived in this house. Probably, I was starting to think it was a fire hazard, and my dryer wasn't drying. It was taking 3 times through to dry the clothing, so I knew everything was kind of clogged up. So, spent money on that, spending money to have someone work on my yard, buying trees. Now I bought the stand for my miter saw. So my anxiety is going up again because I'm spending money when I already feel like I have reduced my savings and should be building it back up. Reduced savings and increasing credit card debt. So freaking me out, stressing me out. So what I'm realizing is while I'm trying to take care of myself and do good things for myself, it also has an effect on my anxiety. I'm also laughing because when I went to get groceries, I did see a shoulder wrap that can be either heat or cold. And I had thought a couple weeks ago, I need something that I can wrap around my shoulders that will stay close to the shoulders and apply heat. So there it was, and I bought that. That's just another $15, but again, it's for taking care of myself in ways that I do need to figure out how to take care of myself in these very... So, I am deciding that prioritizing all of these tasks this weekend was the right thing to do. And though I do want to continue working on being more social, I think it's going to have to be in smaller doses. Something that's maybe for an hour, hour and a half, something like that. And that's fine. But it's taken some thinking and analyzing to get to the point where I'm like, okay, these were the correct decisions. I didn't just give in to anxiety and give up and that kind of thing. So I'm assuming a lot of you probably do relate to this, and some of you are probably thinking, wow, lady, you need to relax. But anyway, that's those of you who have anxiety, you know how that can kind of undermine things. I don't have high levels of anxiety, though after my divorce, I did experience some episodes of panic attacks, so I do know what that feels like. But people who have panic attacks or who have really high anxiety, even just leaving the house or driving or being around, groups of people, maybe of more than 3, this can really, dampen your life and all the things you'd like to do. So the struggle is real, and you kind of have to know how much to push yourself to stretch and then how much to, just kind of take it easy and care for yourself. So anyway, there's your glimpse into the mind of a therapist. Therapists don't necessarily know what the right answer is all the time either. So there you go. We're all just kind of trying to make our way and figure it out as best we can. If you are liking this podcast and you'd like to know more about me as a therapist or the services I offer, go out to my website, which is ldonreed.com, and that is LDonReed.com, and check it out, and you'll see some of these podcast episodes out there and a variety of other things. Check it out, and I think you'll like some of what you see. And until next time, be well.